using buttonholes on the Fav Creative Icon too. And I do love buttonholes, but sometimes a little bit more decorative use than practical use. Hi, I'm Sarah from SewingMastery.com, and we're doing tutorials on every corner of this beautiful machine. So we just did a video on how to use the automatic buttonhole foot. But as you can see, it does have a length limit. So when you need a buttonhole longer than this foot will allow you to stitch, you will be reaching for your manual buttonhole foot. This comes with your machine and it is labeled 5M. You'll be able to do any of these buttonholes at any length you desire. So I want to show you what that looks like, because now you're in charge of kind of the turnaround length once you reach the length you need. Be sure that the dual feed or IDT is disengaged and attach the foot. Now the machine has a screen that shows that it can actually be repeated once it stitches the length. So it can actually count how many stitches that we're doing and then have an option to repeat that once it's done. Here's how it looks. So for time purposes, I'm actually going to make a shorter buttonhole and not a ginormous one, but I could if I wanted to. We do still see that the buttonhole starts at the lower position and will stitch away from us first. So as you bring your needle, bring it towards the mark closest to you. As you start stitching, and I'm going to go ahead, instead of using the start-stop button, I'm going to go ahead and use my foot control so I can be watching for that second mark. When I reach it, touch the reverse button one time. This is going to go ahead and do the tack at the top and then travel back down. Now, two things. On the underneath side of this foot, there are two tunnels. The two tunnels are helping this keep the satin stitches nice and parallel. I also have stabilizer under this fabric, so that's helping as well. Now the only thing is this machine does not know where we started because there's nothing to tell it what we did so far. So when we get down to the last stitch, or where they're lined up similar, touch the reverse button to make it complete the buttonhole. It'll finish with the bar tack at the bottom, a little locking stitch. Keep your foot on the foot control until it stops completely, which mine is. So I'm going to take my foot off, and then I'm going to just cut my thread here. We have a new picture on screen that is orange, and that's kind of the universal symbol for repeat. So it has counted how many stitches it went up and then how many stitches it came down. So if you want the same buttonhole again, all you need to do is start the needle on your starting point. Perfectly identical buttonholes, all by setting the length yourself. Another use for a manual type of buttonhole would be as if you are fixing a buttonhole. Maybe half the side is kind of ripped out or the stitches came loose. You can actually go in and kind of control where it's stitching and kind of recreate it. I'd put some stabilizer underneath that and give it a go. You'd be surprised how you can restitch a buttonhole in something where it used to be, and now you're correcting it to be more stable than ever before. Check out those links below if you want to learn more about the Fav Creative Icon 2.